Those words echoed in Jordan's mind like a design brief written in invisible ink. We chose you because you actually seemed to care. 3 weeks had passed since that phone call, and Jordan still couldn't decode what it meant. Sitting in their Portland studio apartment, surrounded by half-finished illustrations and the gentle hum of the rain against windows, they replayed the conversation for the 100th time. The client, a major sustainable fashion brand, had seen their portfolio online, watched their nervous, stumbling video introduction, and somehow decided that Jordan Chen was exactly what they needed. Your nervousness felt authentic, the creative director had explained, her voice warm through the phone speaker. Everyone else gave us these polished pitches, but you kept apologizing for your lighting, adjusting your glasses, talking about how much the project meant to you. It was refreshing. Jordan's hands moved unconsciously to their sketchpad, fingers tracing the edges while their mind wandered. The conference was tomorrow. Design Connect Portland. The kind of networking event that usually sent them into a spiral of preparation that never felt adequate enough. But this time felt different. This time they had something to prove, not just to others, but to themselves. The invitation sat propped against their monitor. Emerging Designer Showcase. Jordan Chen, featured speaker. Featured speaker. The words still felt foreign, like wearing someone else's glasses. Notice how anxiety changes the weight of air around you. Jordan had always been hyper-aware of this shift, the way their chest would tighten and their thoughts would scatter like startled birds. But lately they'd begun to wonder, what if the sensitivity wasn't a bug in their system, but a feature? The next morning arrived too quickly and not quickly enough. Time had that elastic quality of impending events, stretching and compressing like a rubber band held between anxious fingers. Jordan stood before their bathroom mirror, adjusting their carefully chosen outfit. A soft gray blazer that felt like armor, comfortable jeans that said creative but professional, and their grandmother's vintage watch that always reminded them they belonged somewhere. The conference center buzzed with the particular energy of creative professionals trying to impress each other. Jordan's stomach performed what felt like a complex geometric pattern, all angles and unexpected curves. They clutched their portfolio bag like a talisman, watching the smooth interactions around them with the fascination of an anthropologist studying a foreign culture. Jordan, a voice cut through the crowd. Rebecca, the creative director who'd hired them, appeared with a genuine smile that immediately shifted something in Jordan's chest. I'm so excited you're here. Come, let me introduce you to some people. What followed was a blur of handshakes and business cards, names that slipped away as quickly as they were offered. Jordan felt their responses becoming more stilted, their smile more forced. This was exactly what they'd feared, performing an awkward pantomime of confidence, while everyone else seemed to navigate these waters with natural grace. The breaking point came during the lunch networking session. Jordan found themselves backed into a corner, literally, by 3 designers discussing their latest high-profile clients, with the casual confidence of people who'd never questioned whether they deserved to be in the room. The conversation flowed around them like water around a stone, and Jordan felt themselves becoming smaller and smaller. Excuse me, they managed, stepping away toward the bathroom with legs that felt uncertain. In the quiet sanctuary of the restroom, Jordan gripped the marble countertop and studied their reflection. Their grandmother's voice echoed from memory. Mia, the most beautiful designs have imperfections. They show the hand of the maker. At the time, Jordan had thought she was talking about pottery. Now they wondered if she'd been talking about people. The afternoon workshop changed everything. Jordan had signed up for authentic brand storytelling, more out of obligation than interest, but as they settled into the back row, something shifted. The facilitator, a woman with silver-streaked hair and laugh lines that spoke of decades in the industry, began with an unexpected question. Who here has ever been told they care too much? Jordan's hand rose before they could stop it, along with about half the room. The facilitator smiled. Good. Caring too much is not a character flaw. It's your competitive advantage. The clients who matter, the projects that change things, the connections that last, they don't happen because you're the smoothest talker in the room. They happen because someone can feel that you give a damn. The words landed like puzzle pieces clicking into place. Jordan thought about their client call, their stumbling explanations, their visible nervousness that had somehow communicated more than any polished presentation ever could. During the break, Jordan stepped onto the conference center's outdoor terrace. The Portland afternoon was crisp, with that particular quality of light that made everything look like it was waiting to be photographed. They were sketching absently, a nervous habit when someone approached. Mind if I join you? It's quieter out here. Jordan looked up to see one of the designers from the morning's conversation, but her demeanor was completely different. Gone was the performance of networking confidence, replaced by something that looked remarkably like relief. I'm Sarah, she said, settling into the chair beside Jordan. I saw your work in the showcase preview. It's beautiful. There's something about your illustrations that feels, I don't know, honest. They talked for 20 minutes about design, about the pressure to perform confidence, about the strange alchemy that happens when vulnerability meets professional skill. Sarah confessed that she'd been watching Jordan all day, envious of their ability to be genuinely present in conversations instead of constantly calculating the next impressive thing to say. I keep trying to network like everyone else, Sarah laughed, but I think I'm just collecting business cards from people I'll never actually connect with. You had one real conversation with Rebecca this morning, and I could see the actual relationship forming. That's what I want to learn how to do. As Jordan walked back inside, something fundamental had shifted in their understanding. Their careful attention to others, their visible investment in projects, their tendency to overthink. These weren't obstacles to overcome. They were the very qualities that drew the right people toward them. The featured speaker presentation was scheduled for 4 p.m. Jordan had prepared slides about their design process, but standing at the podium, looking out at faces that no longer seemed like judges but like fellow travelers, they set their notes aside. I want to tell you about the phone call that changed how I think about being nervous, they began, and their voice carried clearly through the room without the forced projection they'd practiced. They talked about authenticity as a design principle, about negative space in conversations, about the way genuine caring creates its own kind of confidence. They shared their struggles with networking events, and watched as heads nodded in recognition throughout the audience. They explained how anxiety had taught them to notice details others missed, to listen more carefully, to approach each project like it mattered, because to them, it did. The applause felt different than they'd expected, warmer, more connected. Afterward, as Jordan packed up their materials, Rebecca approached with a knowing smile. You know why we really chose you? She said. It wasn't just that you seemed to care. It's that you couldn't hide how much you cared, even when you were trying to be professional. That told us you'd protect our brand like it was your own child. And looking at this room right now, she gestured to the small crowd still lingering, business cards being exchanged, genuine conversations happening. I think we were right. Jordan looked around at the connections forming, the authentic exchanges they'd somehow catalyzed by simply being themselves. The realization settled over them like a perfectly balanced composition. Their nervousness hadn't been something to overcome. It had been something to honor, to translate, to trust. Driving home through Portland's tree-lined streets, Jordan caught their reflection in the rearview mirror. Same face, same glasses, same anxious energy humming beneath the surface. But something in their eyes had shifted, a recognition, a acceptance, a quiet understanding that their sensitivity to others, their visible investment in their work, their inability to fake casual confidence weren't flaws in their design. They were features. The phone was ringing as they unlocked their apartment door. Another potential client, another opportunity to be authentically, nervously, genuinely themselves. Jordan smiled as they reached for the phone, already knowing that whatever came next, they wouldn't have to pretend to be anyone else to deserve it. Sometimes the most powerful transformations happen not when we change who we are, but when we finally understand who we've been all along.